let's talk about Mayor Brandon Johnson and the spiritual side of what's happening in Chicago right now. Because though there are political things happening, this thing that's happening in Chicago is energetic. So Mayor Brandon Johnson called for the people to strike against major corporations because of all of the dynamics that are happening to the everyday people. He made this call for all races and people of all backgrounds to come together and to strike against major corporations who seem to be the ones getting all the benefits of the economics and the breaks in our country, but the everyday people are in many ways having difficulty in their day-to-day life. So he called this action for us to strike against these big companies. And I want to talk about why this is so major. And when I say this is spiritual, it's beyond political. First of all, oftentimes we don't see our political leaders calling for us to come together in these ways. What would be great is to see the organization that goes around it. But even beyond that, the reason I say this is spiritual is because it aligns so much with what is happening astrologically. Now, before you push that to the side, because some people look at astrology as being very superficial and woo-woo and not having real credence to it. But if you really were to study astrology deeper, you would see its relevance and its significance. And then you would also know that there are people in ancient times who really took the stars, the planetary alignments, what's going on out there up above very seriously, because it definitely impacted what was going on the ground, on the earth, in our day-to-day life. And so I want to talk about what that is and how that aligns. So listen so that you can see if this makes sense to you, or if you can see where it meets. So before we do that, I want you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. So let's get into it. So you may or you may not have heard about the age of Aquarius. This is the age that we are in now. We are in the age of Aquarius, leaving the age of Pisces. So the age of Aquarius, let's talk about what that is and where it aligns. The age Aquarius, we're going to talk about Aquarius and then the planetary ruler of Aquarius, which is Uranus. So Aquarius represents innovation, it represents technology, it represents vision, being a visionary, and it also represents humanitarianism. It also can relate to disconnect or being cold in its unevolved nature, coldness, disconnect. But in its more evolved nature, it is the things I mentioned previously. Now, the planetary ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. And Uranus represents changing the status quo, evolving, evolution. It is fast moving. It is fast and sudden change. It's abrupt change. And if you're paying attention to the times that we are in right now, so much of this is relevant. First of all, when it comes to the idea of changing the status quo and what is happening in Chicago with the example of Mayor Brandon Johnson calling for people to come together to overthrow these major corporations, that is an example of changing the status quo, changing what has been. And it has been a thing where major corporations and the ultra rich benefit off of all of the things, and then the people that are below are the ones to pay the price for that. So this is a big part of the energy. Also, when we talk about the coming together of people, this is talking about humanitarianism, a political leader calling for people to come together for every person, for humanity, not just for a segment of people, not for people who look a certain way, not people with a particular demographic, not people with a particular amount of resources and money. This is calling for all people of all backgrounds to come together, understanding that when one person is impacted, everyone really is impacted. So to know that means to also look out for your neighbor, to also understand the importance of everyone having resources and a chance in life, in everyday life, to be able to rise, to be able to have the good experiences that they deserve in their life. So that coming together very much speaks to humanitarian efforts to call for a change in what has been. And what has been the thing of capital gain at the expense of other people. Now, there's so much to say about that because I'm not one to talk about being in the crux of fear. I am very much one who speaks about utilizing your energy to create what it is that you want. But it is also very important to see what the energy is doing in this current moment. And that is really what astrology is. It's about the energies. Though they have been given names and archetypes and all of these things, it is really at the end of the day about energy. And the energy right now is definitely speaking to changing the status quo for what has been for so long. Anyone who's in America, let's be honest, if we are living in this country, this America that we live in was founded on something that needed to change, that status quo that needed to change. It was founded on the labor of other people without their fair share. It was founded on taking away the rights of people. It was founded on taking away people's humanity in order to gain capital. And so often when you see someone or something, a system, put on a face, the best way for you to see the real true colors and the nature of that thing is to put it in a corner and watch it fight and show its true colors. And that is what's happening. This system knows that there is a change that is coming, that there is an energy that is changing what has been, and it is showing its face to everyone. There is no one who is at a place where their humanity could be something that's not considered. So the thing is recognizing that there is an energy happening right now that aligns with what is happening astrologically. Because then it helps you to understand, let's get a better meaning. What's the bigger meaning of this energy? And the bigger meaning is the evolution. That could also look like revolution when we talk about humanity coming together to change the status quo. And sometimes that can feel scary, but it is a necessary change. So rather than resisting change, it is to go with the energy and understand how do you help bring this energy forward for the change that is very much so needed. When it comes to everyday people, we all have a common denominator, and that is our humanity. That is the importance of everyone's rights. Not that only some people should have rights and other people shouldn't. It's the rights of all. And understanding what you want for yourself, want that also for your neighbor. And even when it comes to looking at what this really means, it really speaks to a death of a system and the rebirth of something new, something that is more evolved, something that is for humanity, something that is for evolution, something that is going to require revolution to bring that about. And this is something we see on a massive scale, on a larger scale, but death and rebirth is also something that you could see within your own personal life. So I really implore you to think about what parts of you do you also know it's time to let go, time to let that die, because it has kept you disconnected. It has kept you from evolving. And then what is it that you would like to see be reborn, to be born in you? What is it that you know is deep down in you, but you've been afraid to let it flourish, to let it blossom because of that part that you haven't let go of yet? I have my parts. I know specifically what it is that has held me back. That is the thing that is fighting to stay in place. And I also feel the thing that wants to be born, that wants to come through so that life and experiences for myself can move forward in another way and come out and broaden me and to have new experiences and to have vision. You know, Aquarius is about the visionary. So thinking about what is your vision for the world, maybe, but also what is your vision for yourself? What is your vision that you want to see come into fruition? And what is the thing that you know you have to let go of because it is the very thing that's holding it back? Thank you for listening today. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.